What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk Talk Punch. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening in at the audio version of the podcast, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Help us out. Click the subscribe button. Then come back here every Wednesday. See what we're talking about. And of like this week's topic, we are listing our top three.
As usual.
Top
That's
three
right.
graphic novels that we would like to see adopted into TV or movie. We left it open. All right. I am Brody Hanson, joined by.
Two Dong Dylan.
You may notice we're a man short. We lost
I've noticed that.
Lost to Charlie. Just for a couple weeks while he is on paternity leave. Got to take care of that little baby. Gave him a couple weeks off. Said, take care of that little baby. Back. Because we need you, Charlie. We need you, Charlie.
We said the kid's going to need you for a little bit, but not as much as we do.
That is true. So, for a couple weeks, you guys are stuck with just Tudong and I, but it's okay. We got some fun stuff planned.
This is true. This is true. So, bro,
yes,
what parameters, by the way, did you use for coming up with your top three?
All right. So, my top three, I only did one superhero.
Really?
Yeah. And then the other two are just graphic novel. It came out in comic form, but I bought them in graphic novel. So that's kind of how I did it.
Okay.
How about you?
Well, I actually, it's funny, like kind of an interesting eclectic list. Although I will say that we left Batman out of it this time,
that's true.
We could revisit Batman later.
That's true. That's true. Because it's Dylan and I, and we are big Batman fans. We said, you know what? Batman could have his own list.
Yeah.
Of storylines that we would like to see adopted. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming out here.
That's going to be lots
of weeks.
Fun, yeah.
Because we'll do that while Charlie's out.
Yes.
So
not that he hates Batman, because he doesn't.
He just doesn't read as many of the comic books.
He does like to pretend that he does. And that's okay. That's okay. Because we all know the truth.
You and I have been buying him comic books, and that's what he reads. It's the stuff that we buy for him.
Have you bought him Batman ones? Because that's a great idea. I need to start getting more and more of those. Like,
I'm sure over the past 25 years, I've probably bought him some Batman.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's move right on to that list that people clicked on to see. There we are. There's our number three. Tudong, you're going to be up first.
Me?
You're number three.
Whoa, okay. Number three for me is a bit of an Elseworlds. I actually am a big Elseworlds fan, and so I picked 5 Ronin, which I actually even have right here. There we go. I love this, and I would love to see this because they take your classic X-Men characters and they turn them into feudal Japanese characters, and they do it with so many different ways and different varieties. And I think it would just, I don't know if it would be, it would be an interesting kind of a limited series and a kind of limited Elseworld series. That's kind of how I did a lot of these. Is I thought it would be an interesting either like a movie or like a limited series, but this one just sounds like it would be a whole lot of fun to watch. You've got the different because they're not. It's funny. They're not exactly. They don't talk about mutants and they don't really talk about powers. You've got the Hulk in there, and he's a monk, and he's a very large monk, and he's used to be like a samurai, and he has a whole. It's almost exactly like a Hulk. They go up to him like, hey, we need your help, and he's like, I'm a man of peace. I don't want to fight anymore. Things like that. You've got Wolverine, and instead of him being with the mutant powers, there is a their master, their you can even say employer, basically had these same guys who look almost exactly alike. So every time they get killed, it seems like another one just pops right on up, and it's a whole thing along with them. You've got Deadpool as the as this crazy, and yet he goes in and out of each one of the characters, and like a crazy monk or a crazy, I don't even know what he is. He's several different things. He goes back in and out, and you have Psylocke, who is she's like a ninja, but she's also a geisha. Hey, get out of here, you. And it's great seeing some of these characters in completely different ways. And then, as I was reading it, you see these things and you think this is completely different. I see how they kind of did it, and then as it goes, you see their characters come out more and more. I love it. It would be interesting, and it would be a whole different take. Something we haven't even seen with the X-Men.
I've never read this before.
Really?
When did this come
I
out?
thought you recommended it to me. Wow, bro, what happened?
When did this
This
come
is
out?
well, in that case, I recommend this one to you, bro, because this is a really cool read. They went deep with this one. This is a really good one.
Now, are you thinking movie or TV show or anime
When I was
or?
Well, when I was first thinking about it, I thought, hey, let's have it be a movie. My brain goes there, but then I thought it'd be a really good limited series.
Okay. Live action or animated?
Live action. All of these, I'd want to see live action. I would love to see these characters come to life in feudal Japan. I mean, the way that they would cast it would be amazing. Maybe it would even get picked up. Who knows? If anybody is at Marvel, I have no problem going ahead and taking credit for that idea. But otherwise, it's a really great read, and it would be phenomenal to see that on screen. Nowadays, with the limited series, they would make this look unbelievable.
Sure. I'll have to check this one out.
All right. So your number 3?
My number 3. Dark Phoenix Saga. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, now, Brody, they've done this twice already. And to that I say, have they? Because they haven't.
They haven't done it right.
They've done the Dark Phoenix, but they've never done the Dark Phoenix Saga. Now, we had X-Men 3, The Last Stand. And I remember at the end of X2, right? We lost Jean Grey in the water, and then it was this setup, and you saw like the fire and the water. And I remember walking out of the theaters and saying, "Oh my, they're gonna do Dark Phoenix Saga for number 3." Then that X-Men 3 came out, and it was like, boy, that was not good.
What happened?
And then they kind of did this reboot, and they did all this stuff, and then X-Men Apocalypse was kind of, it was what it was. But then at the end of that, we get the new Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force, and I'm thinking, oh yes, now we're getting the Dark Phoenix Saga. And then Dark Phoenix came out, and golly doggone it, it was worse than X-Men 3. That movie was so bad. And so, man, I just want a good Phoenix Saga. And
how would you say? Should you think it should be a movie? Do you think it should be a limited series? What are you thinking?
No, I want a movie. I want a big budget sci-fi movie. I want the X-Men going up into space, fighting the Shi'ar.
Trilogy?
I don't know. I mean,
you can't do it in one movie.
Maybe. I mean, once we get this new crop of X-Men, right? Like in the MCU, you could set it up. You could have all of the Hellfire Club stuff in one movie, and then take it off into space for a next movie. You could expand this, and that would be really neat. But we have lost all of that good stuff in all these previous movies. So I want to see a good Dark Phoenix Saga. I know when it won't happen, because they're going to say, we've been to the well too many times. We've been to the Dark Phoenix well. We can't go back. It's been tainted. But I want it. I want a good Dark Phoenix Saga.
What's the one thing that that they left out, and you're just like, you've got to have this in there? They didn't have it in there once. Because besides a good story, you can't say that. One aspect that you're like, you've got to at least include this.
You got to have the Phoenix Force.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
They keep, for all these movies, it's just been, it's just been like this. It's been like an extra power, or it's been something else. Like in the comics, it's this whole Phoenix Force that takes over her, and then she goes off and she
Mm-hmm.
destroys planets and all this stuff, and it becomes this big trial, and it's like, and then we lose Jean Grey at the end. It's just
Didn't they go into space? Didn't like I mean, if I'm because I haven't read it in a little bit of a while, but I remember they go into space and a whole other like alien place was like, hey, if you want her, you guys are gonna have to defeat like a certain like these people or
it's the
something along those
Shi'ar.
lines.
It's the
What's
Shi'ar.
that?
The Shi'ar.
Right, right. That's right.
And the Shi'ar Imperial Guard are involved, and all the X-Men come up, and so yeah, I would love to see a really
Nice.
good adaptation of the Dark Phoenix. So
Nice.
there is my number 3.
That's a good
Tudong,
one.
your number 2, and that is my one. That one is my one superhero pick. The other ones are not superheroes.
Well, this next one I can say is definitely not a superhero pick. This next one, actually, for me, number 2, is something that could possibly not happen. That's right. Have you read this, bro?
No, I have not.
Now you go ahead and laugh all you like, but have you? If those people who have read this graphic novel know that not only do they bring back the continuity when it comes to Jason and Ash and even Freddy, it has you get the Dream Master back, you get Tommy Jarvis back, and I mean some people turn bad, some people turn good. There's no way it could possibly happen because there's a whole thing where Freddy takes over like what is it? He takes over the White House, and Jason is he's fighting against him. He's fighting with him. Ash is trying to bring in all of the people to from the other movies to basically take them all out. Freddy is, of course, once again the major bad guy. And I mean, like I said, I know it's not going to happen, but this graphic novel was so much fun, and it brought back that kind of continuity that none of those other crossover things had. Which is why I thought to myself, this would be a great miniseries because it is a big thing. It's huge. You've got all sorts of different things, but it also brings it, like I said, it brings it back. Like they kept with these other things, they kept trying to get rid of any sort of continuity. And you've got these characters, and hey, maybe they're not used properly, maybe they're not used great, and maybe they're used fantastically. But they come and they bring them back, and you've got some of all of those things. You've got, like I said, you got Tommy Jarvis. You've got some of them turning bad on you, some of them turning good, some of them, and just a lot of fun. And you got Ash right in the midst there. Come on, man, give me some sugar, baby.
you know, Tudong, we often kind of refer to you as the wild card.
It's that
And
wild card.
and you've had some wild card picks for our list, but this might be the most Tudong Dylan pick you have ever picked.
That's true. That is definitely true. The only thing that would make it more too dong is you get some Nathan Fillion in it. But you got Ash, you got Bruce Campbell, and that makes it too dong enough. I actually have his autograph someplace. I gotta put it back up here.
Oh, that's funny. Yes, this is. You could show me this picture, and someone would say, "What's the first thing that comes to mind?" And I'd say, "Tudong Dylan."
I'm gonna take that as a compliment. And
Oh, it is. It is a compliment. All
So you're
right. My number 2 is Fables.
Whoa!
Did you ever read this, Tudong?
No, I haven't.
Oh, this is a big old long series. I um I have like
Compendium.
I have like 15 of the graphic novels. It went through. There was like a big long story that was leading to a war, and then after the war, they kind of kept going, and I lost. But like leading up to the war, it was like amazing, and so you've got all of these fairy tale characters, that are all public domain. So you've got
Oh,
Cinderella and Snow White, and you've got the Big Bad Wolf, and you've got Little Boy Blue, and you've got Pinocchio, and all of these characters, and they've all lived inside this realm, and a lot of them have been exiled, and so then there's like an empire still in their original world, and so there's like this war brewing, but there's so many stories, and there's so many characters and storylines.
tell me your favorite character.
Huh?
Tell me your favorite character.
Well, Big B is the main character. He's the big
Uh-huh.
bad wolf, but he's in human form, and he's like a detective. He's
Nice.
like he because they have like their own little section of the city, so he's kind of like the police-ish kind of guy.
That's fantastic.
And
The
so
big
there's
bad wolf is like the cops. I like it.
yeah, and so
Who's the
there's
main bad guy?
well, there's a lot of them.
Well, there's no main one.
Well, I can't tell you the main one because that's a spoiler. I don't want to spoil.
Ah.
Um,
Is there anyone from Fables, like any sort of like bad guy that I wouldn't be a spoil and I would have heard of? It's just that the big bad wolf is a good guy.
Big Bad Wolf is a good guy. I'm trying to think of who some of the
Yeah.
smaller ones. I don't remember off the top of my head. But this would be like an amazing TV series. And I was trying to
Nice.
look. They went through 12 graphic novels before they got to like the big war. So there's a
Wow.
lot of content within this thing. And then they kept going. There's like
Yeah.
25 trade paperbacks in all. There's a and it was so good. When I was building this list, I was kind of going through some of this stuff, and this is one that I need to read because it was. But
I'm
yeah,
gonna have to take a look too.
put it on like an Amazon or something like that. It is more adult. There's
Now
murders and there's stuff like that.
we're not saying that it shouldn't be done, but we are saying that Brode, as an executive producer, if it does get done, there's nothing wrong with that. Brode is excellent as an executive producer. If anybody wants a pitch for this, you see, there you go. Brode has it right here.
Well, and this actually was considered for a TV show back in like 2006 or something like that by like NBC, and then
Wow.
they didn't end up doing it. I don't
It's
remember
too
why.
big.
I think then they ended up doing like the Grimm show, which was similar.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
that's the one.
I
That's the one.
I don't know
Grim,
if it
that's
was
right.
um but yeah, so it was considered for a while, and then just nobody decided to pick it up. I'm not sure why, but
Sounds like
it
it'd be
was
a good
really
match
good.
for HBO Plus or HBO Max.
It would
Right.
be a really good show, and it could go on for
Nice.
so there
That's
you
cool. I
go.
hadn't heard of that. I got to check that one out.
It's a good one. It's an investment because you got to get at least through 12 trade paperbacks to get like the. But there you go. There is
That's
my
great.
number two.
Number two. Number two.
All right,
Well,
Tudon.
now my number one. It may be a bit of a cheat in the eyes of some folks because Batman may kind of be a smidge in it. However, I stand by exactly what it is, and I think it would be once again a great Elseworlds, either a film or maybe like a series. It'd be an interesting limited series, perhaps.
Okay.
But my number one is Red Sun. And you actually told me about this one, bro.
I did.
You were like, Udong, you've got to watch Red. You got to take a look at Red Sun. And I was like, Red Sun? What? Basically, what that is if they had shot out Kal-El, the last son of Krypton, and instead of him hitting Kansas and fighting for truth, justice, and the American way, he lands in Soviet Moscow, the Soviet Union with Stalin as his father somehow because the government figures out that he's got powers. So of course Stalin takes him under his wing, and it's wonderful. I mean, it'd be really cool to see um, Henry Cavill in like an Elseworlds kind of a Superman doing this kind of a thing, speaking Russian or just with a Russian accent. You've got Wonder Woman coming in. True, you've got a little bit of Batman, but hey,
It's not
no,
a Batman story.
it's not a Batman story. That's right. But I mean, it's wonderful how the whole thing is structured and the ending, as it goes technically all the way back to the beginning somehow. Wonderful story. One of the better comics that you've ever actually recommended to me. And I think this would just be a lot of fun. DC, they're getting a lot of flack from everybody, and a lot of fans are upset that they're getting flack from him. But I think, hey, let's do a little Elseworlds right here, and let's see Henry Cavill like bite into the role of Superman with something that's deeper than what he's gone with before. I mean, it would be really cool to see him do that, and it spans the just about the entire Superman career.
Now,
That'd be great.
Tudong,
Yeah,
do you know adapted
a cartoon, right?
see?
Yeah, nah, that doesn't count.
Oh, that doesn't count. You want a live action?
I want to see Henry Cavill do this. I think, hey, how long has it been since he has been Superman? Give him something cool. We got like Elseworlds all over the place. And it doesn't have to be, we don't have to worry about continuity. You don't have to worry about anything. You go with the comic and you do like a basic run. And it's so cool because it gets different with each passing of like the decades that he's working in. It starts off way back. It goes until after Stalin passed away. He's taking control of Soviet Union, and is he going to take over the entire world? Is he going to force everybody to do what he wants? Is it going? I mean, all these sorts of things. It would just be. I think it would be a lot of fun. Give us a HBO Max limited series on it. It'd just be really a lot of fun. You've got Lois Lane in a completely different role than she's been in before, because now she's with Lex Luthor, who's technically supposed to be a good guy for America. And then, of course, you've got him going through. You've got him becoming president, and then he starts doing well with his things. It would be a lot of fun to see. It'd be lots and lots of fun, I think.
Yeah, this is I love this story, and really the animated feature was not as good as.
What was it missing?
Nowhere close, huh?
What was it missing? I haven't seen it.
It was just all those animated shows, they have to condense down to
right,
hour and 20 minutes and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that gets taken out.
That's why it'd be good. It'd be a really good limited series, and it'd be lots of fun. Can you imagine like Henry Cavill doing this, playing a Russian Superman?
Sure.
And I mean, after all this stuff, I mean, that must be like so much. And he's still Superman. He's got a cool look at this costume. Look at this costume right here. Come on, Henry Cavill. There we go.
Now, if you're having Henry Cavill come back, does that mean that you're having Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor, come back then too?
I am sure he could do a Lex Luthor that isn't quite divisive to the fans. I'm positive he could do something like that. He's not a bad actor at all. I mean, he could do it. Henry Cavill can do it. You've got what is it? Amy Adams.
Amy Adams.
As she could still be there. She absolutely could. And you got Jimmy Olsen now as a absolute. He's working. You see, although Zack Snyder put him as a FBI or CIA, he is the same thing in this one too. So I mean, he could pull it. You got Jimmy Olsen pulling it off. We could throw in a little Batman in there if we want. Of course, what happens to him has to still happen.
Yeah,
if we're gonna keep the same characters, that's totally fine. Let's transport all of these. There's a Wonder Woman in there. She's in there. Gal Gadot could do that. How fun would it be to play these different kinds of versions?
You even get the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, and you get the Green Lanterns, and nobody can play Green Lantern like Nathan Fillion. It all comes full circle right there, bro. You can't have one of these, just with Tudong here and not bring it back to Nathan Fillion. Come on.
Yeah, be on the lookout for an upcoming Nathan Fillion episode.
See, this is what happens. Little tease there. To rein us in, is then we're going full Batman. We got full Nathan Fillion.
I know. Charlie's gonna come back and he's gonna be like, "What did you?
What happened, guys? What happened?
This is what happens when I."
So let's. All right, no, number one, Broads. Broads number one. It will shock you, folks. It'll shock you. It's already shocked me, and I haven't heard it yet.
Bone. Oh
Ooh.
my goodness, Bone is Jeff Smith. You can get the original black and white comics. You can get the colored comics, but I would love to see animated adaptation. Now they
Now, for
have.
those of us who have not heard of this, which is I'm one of them, what is it?
Oh, it's like a fantasy epic story. You've got nine nine beautiful
Wow.
volumes. And it's so good. You've got these little cartoon guys, you've got humans, you've got monsters. Oh my.
Is that little guy
Yeah.
that's sitting
No.
underneath that what looks like a large bone? Is he Bone in the story? Is that his
Yes.
name?
Yeah, that is Bone. And
Really?
you've got some of his Bone family, so you've got Bone, that. But it
Do they
is
talk on bone bones like to each other?
no. Um, but you've got it's fantasy, so you've got like princesses, and you've got this evil kind of lurking, and so as you're going through the stories, like you're seeing these monsters start to appear, and new characters are showing up, and there's some twists, like
Wow.
there's this royalty, and then it kind of culminates in this giant battle against the bad guys. It is so good. It's an epic fantasy like a Lord of the Rings, right? It's like you're setting things up and you're just kind of going. But you have all these books, and they have apparently
Hmm.
Netflix has been working on a animated version of this. But I feel like they've been talking about it for so long, and I even went looking as I was making this trying to find some sort of update. There have been no updates. It's just like in production, but it's been in production for years. So I don't
Wow.
know when this is coming. I don't know if it's coming, but I would love to see this. I've let my kids read this and they really enjoyed it. I let my wife read this and she really enjoyed it. It is so good. I mean, you can get like one big old copy with like all of them in one. And
Wow.
it's such a good story. And so to have, even if it was because it's, you got like nine stories here. So if you go not one season, right? But maybe like two, three, like it does. I don't think that each one of these has to be its own season. Ends it down some. But if you go two or three seasons, that's going to be an amazing 2 or 3 season run. That's a
Yeah.
complete story because it's all done. They're not doing any more of them. And then
Really?
and you keep the style and everything. Oh, it would be so good. Love to see it. That's my number one. I ever since I've been reading this came out in the '90s, like early '90s when it
Wow.
started coming out, and I think it came out over about a decade. And I read it in the early 2000s, and ever since then, I've just been waiting. I'm like, this is like prime for the production, like a animated movie or series or something. Like somebody's got to do this, and I just haven't seen it. And then I heard that Netflix was doing it, but I've seen nothing, no updates about it. So I don't know
If
when.
you were to have a dream director, overseer, what kind of like who would that be? Who do you think would be the one?
For
Who is
animated, I have no idea.
would you want it animated or do you want it live action?
No, animated. I want it animated. I want it to look just like this art, just like the art. So
Okay.
get Jeff Smith to do consulting and give them whatever they need so that they can copy the style. They've got all the books, but keep the style as it is. I want to animate it. I want an animated couple seasons, full story of this.
Is there a voice that you're like this person has to play this character?
Nathan Fillion.
Of course, of course. Well, very good, bro. In that case, you pass. That's the ticket, right? Nathan Fillion.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if what voice I would want to hear.
Is there like a bad guy and you're like, this would be perfect for this person? Were you ever reading it and you're just like, this person I could totally see doing this? Here doing it.
Not really. I don't think I ever like assigned an actor to it. It just, because like Bone is like a little cartoon guy. It's hard to, like try to imagine
That's
like
true.
a specific actor's voice or something.
But there's princesses. You said there's bad guys. I'm sure there's got to be somebody, and you're just
There's
like,
bad guys
wow, that's
in
Nathan
like
Fillion.
cloaks, and there's monsters. Yeah. Oh, but it's so good. It's so good. I want it. I want an animated copy of it. Give it to me, Netflix.
Netflix, you say you're working on it. It only makes sense to have it come through already.
Have it come through because I want it. So get me to not cancel you. Give me a Bone series.
I gotta say that I think out of all of these, the one that is the furthest that could ever possibly happen is definitely this one. I think this one is the one for definitely not ever going to happen.
Unfortunately,
All
not.
these guys have stopped doing these things, and without them, it's hard to do.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if
They're not. They can't. They were thinking about that after Freddy versus Jason, but now Ash is done with the role. And I mean, uh, Robert Englund, who is Freddy Krueger, he has passed down the role, and
sure.
So yeah, that one will definitely never happen. But a lot of these are really good ideas.
I agree. All right, Tudong, go ahead and take us home.
Take us home. All right, folks. Go ahead and right underneath me, you'll see some other videos. If you like what you've seen, check us out. New ones every single Wednesday. Underneath Brody, you can click to subscribe so you don't ever have to miss one single second of an episode of Talk Punch, where we talk about different sorts of shenanigans that not only do we like, but hopefully so do many others.
Oh, perfect. You nailed that, Tudong.
Hey!
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you, folks.
Bye-bye.